He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
I just love that opening when I get to see all my friends. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza, for all the hard work that you did on that. I want to welcome everybody to today's show. We're going to talk about how to make a good decision. It's episode 778. How do I keep finding the energy to do this? I go deep inside. That's how I love it. I love it. So we're going to talk about, how to make a good decision. First, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Ismet, Jack, the whole team at Warren Henry. They help me look good and travel safely. They give me a great transportation, and they help me feel like a family. And we'll talk a little bit more about how Warren Henry rolls into this topic a little bit later in the show. And now on to the show. We make 33 to 35,000 decisions every day. I got that out of the Wall Street Journal. I kind of stopped reading the paper for anything other than these great business tips. It's really important to continue to stay informed, and you get these 33 to 35,000 decisions every day. And I guess one of them is, am I going to read the newspaper or watch TV? You can't let the number of decisions that you have to make get to you. You can't really allow yourself to feel overwhelmed. You have to really understand when doing less is actually going to allow you to do more. A great example on that is today. I'm working hard to make a bunch of cold calls. We've talked about how many cold calls I make every day. And sometimes I just can't focus on where to call, who to call, what to call. I eat myself up alive because I should be calling here or should be calling there. Wrong approach. So I take a step back. I re-engage my brain and say, what is it that you're trying to really accomplish? Then I prioritize. Sometimes in the morning when I wake up, or in the middle of the night when I wake up, I have something on my mind and I just can't relax until I get it off my mind. So what do? I make lists. Yeah, that's the important stuff, is an orange that I don't want to forget. And that's what I do, checklists. There's actually a book about making checklists. My mom gave it to me. My mom gives me all these great books. Mom, I love you. Thank you for the book on checklists. Glad I gave it back, though. Don't want to keep your books. I know how problematic it can be to keep the library book out a little bit too long, especially when the librarian's your mom. And I review the checklists. I review them every morning. I consolidate them. And then on the weekends, I take some time when the phone's not ringing, and I go through the lists. And what happens when I go through the lists is it generates ideas. So I got two different pages out. I got the list of things to do, and then I got the list of ideas. That's the secret. Because if you're doing all that, there's something else that you've got to know. You've got to know that you can't let your checklist dominate you. You can't let it dominate. You have to be open and flexible. You have to be ready, because the day will throw you things that aren't on your checklist that will suddenly rise to the top of your checklist. And it's up to you to decide which thing to do and when to do it. And what do you listen to when you're making those decisions? Your gut instinct will tell you. And if you drop the file on something and forget about it and don't realize that you didn't accomplish it, well, that's what the weekend review is for. And I review the checklist. I keep detailed records of who I called and what I said. Quick, fast story. I had one of the companies I do business with. I had two different business development folks. One that I had talked to and sent my general email letter to, another one who we actually hired through his response to an RFP that we did. And when I said that I wanted to do more business with the company, he got all uptight because I had talked to this other person that I had forgotten even talking to. And he gave me the name of the person, checked on my list, saw the name of the person, could identify when I talked to them, what I said to them. And because of that record, we were able to clear up the networking question that we had. And I dealt with the second person. He put me in touch with their global head of real estate, and we continued down the road to build business. But the main thing was I had the right record at my fingertips, it's actually amazed me. Now, when you make that bad decision, and when you do it 33 to 35,000 times, you're going to have something that you think maybe you didn't like. Mr. Mendoza, why am I getting pixelated on the white here? What's going on there?
I was just looking at that myself. I think it's the automatic green screen pixelation.
So should I stop wearing a white shirt?
No, I think I have a solution for that I was going to talk about in between after the show.
Okay. Hey, everybody got to see Mr. Mendoza. All right, go away. Thank you. All right. So, and you'll see, we just did it. I was flexible enough to see what's going on and make the change. We have this decision. We made it with the green screen. It's why I don't pixelate around my head anymore. I love the green screen thing. It's absolutely amazing. But, we have to evaluate the decision. And if there's something that we don't like, you have to be flexible enough to change it. And the other thing you have to do is you have to be big enough person to admit that you made a mistake. And the hardest person to admit that you made a mistake to is yourself. That's honesty. First person you got to be honest with in life is yourself. And then if somebody gives you advice, you have to realize that it's advice, not criticism. People that are married, take note. It's just advice. The person's not being critical. They want to help you. Usually they do it because they care about you and love you. So what do you need to have more than anything? You need to have an open mind. Be open to the change. Be open to the evolution of your to-do list. Be open to the evolution of what's going on in the marketplace. Make sure that you're keeping your ideas, together and that you're able to execute them and that you're not dropping the file. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy at times. But believe me, everything on that list is going to get done. The stuff in orange first, obviously. So remember, keep an open mind. Don't beat yourself up over the decisions that you made that were right or wrong. Just keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Because believe me, there's plenty of things that are going to eat you alive today. Be flexible enough to admit that you're wrong and change your decision. Always be open to it for advice and always have an open mind. Now, I'll be back with the last word, the big takeaway in a minute. And we're going to talk about Warren Henry and how Warren Henry does this. Mr. Mendoza, it's yours. We got to get my friend Bill Talbot back on. I mean, we promote the city of Miami Beach so often. We got to get Bill on, and his mentor, Merritt Steerheim, passed recently. So I'd really like to talk to him about that. That would just be a who is Miami and a real foundational thing. I talked a little bit about how Warren Henry works with this type of a concept. And I actually mentioned it last week. I'll mention it again this week. I get regularly called by them. I'm on their list. They follow up with me. I'm one of their priorities. And they review that list and make adjustments to it. And they don't allow the list to drive it. When the people call me, they listen to my suggestions about when I want service or when they should call me back for my lease renewal. So our friends at Warren Henry do this, and you should do it too. What else does Warren Henry do? Well, it makes me happy in my car every time I get in it. They treat my wife and I like family. They make sure we have the Warren Henry Advantage, that big long list of stuff. And they're available to the people in our community at all their locations. 151st and Biscayne with all their brands, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, Ford down in the Keys. They've got everything up in Gainesville. They sell Audi, and of course they've got their award-winning Land Rover, Range Rover store in South Dade and their new store for Land Rover, Range Rover in West Broward. Remember, always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. In summary, the show today has been about making decisions. We make 35,000 decisions a day as per the Wall Street Journal. You can't let it get to you. You can't let it overrun you. You have to make priorities. Make a list. If you can't remember everything that's driving you crazy, review that checklist and don't let your checklist dominate you. And if you make a decision you don't like, let it go. And now, here's the big takeaway. It's where to find your next deal. I guess I should have mentioned that before we went to break, but I'm not perfect. I think I'll just let that go. So, where's your next deal? I think you already know the answer to that. Your next deal is on your list. It's on your list. So, get creative, go to a quiet place, dump your files onto a list so that you can feel more relaxed and they don't eat you alive, and then start prioritizing your list and going down your list. And I can tell you one thing for sure. When you get to the bottom of that list and you've checked everything off, no matter how many deals you did or didn't get, you'll feel like you accomplished something. And then just start the next day and build on those accomplishments. And those accomplishments will help you feel better. And when you feel better, you'll do better in business and in your personal life. That's what I got for today. That's my final wrap up. So I want to thank our sponsors at Warren Henry. I want to thank my friends at the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies and also the finance department. This year, the finance department provided me with my intern. And that's right, you're going to meet my summer intern on the next show. My God, he's so tremendous. I'm so happy. You'll love him. I love him. And I want to remind everybody that the person that wants to do something finds a way. That's what these shows are all about. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Mr. Mendoza, it's your time to shine.